Change your story for envy.
Hello everyone, Sam is here. Welcome to my channel. In a world that often shouts about the lives of a few, we are here to listen to the whispers, the heartbeats, the untold sagas of the many. Because, you know what? The world isn't just shaped by headlines and celebrities. It's built from everyday courage, the quiet joys, the hidden heartaches, and the profound experiences of people just like you, just like us. This channel is built on one core belief: you matter. Your story matters, and it deserves to be here, to be felt, and to be seen. That's what we do here. You share your life, and we transform those powerful narratives into original songs and music videos. This way, your story doesn't just get told, it gets a soundtrack, a visual heartbeat, and you will travel and grow with this channel, reach more and more people over time. Today, we are honored to share a story from Eli. It's about the complex ties of family, your moments, the things we leave unsaid, and how love often speaks in language beyond the words. It's a reminder that profound meaning is found in the fabric of our ordinary lives. Stick around, because after we journey through Eli's experience, we will premiere the song and music video his story inspired. So Eli, thank you for trusting us with this piece of your life. It's a privilege to help bring a wider audience. For everyone listening, take a breath and let yourself step into his world. Your name is Eli. It's the kind of place. You are 35 now, living in a small town out in western Kentucky with one main street, two gas station, a church, and that old movie theater where half the marquee lights blank and you would miss it. Your dad was Ray. Folks around there just called him Old Ray. He ran the only wood shop in town. You lived right behind it. Your kitchen window looked out over sawdust and a rusted old table saw. When you were a kid, you used to think that smell of vanish and cut pine was awful. Now, every time you catch it, something inside you aches. Your dad wasn't the gentle type. He didn't sugarcoat things. He believed in doing things right and keeping your word. You remember when you were 10, you snuck a sip from one of his beers he kept in the back of the fridge. He didn't yell, just called you out to the backyard, sat down, and handed you a bottle, said, "Go ahead, drink it. If you are man enough to steal it, you are man enough to finish it." You didn't drink it, just held it, shaking like a leaf. That was your dad, tough, but not unkind. He never said things like, "I'm proud of you" or "I love you." But if you wrecked your bike or had a fever or failed a math test, he was there before anyone else. Never said much, but his hands were always warm. Things really started to drift when you told him you didn't want to take over his shop. You were 18 then, just got a scholarship to study engineering up. He didn't argue, just sat in the garage that whole night, smoking in silence. Next morning, he drove you to the bus station like nothing happened. Before you got on the bus, he clapped your back and said, "You don't have to come back, long as you do better than I did." That was the last time he ever drove you anywhere. After college, you stayed in the city, got a good job, got married, then divorced. Your dad never called. He just sent postcards, usually pictures of chairs he built with a line on the back. "Come home sometime, try this one out." But you never did. Always had something going on, deadlines, meetings, whatever. Then, 3 years ago, one of the old guys from town called you up and said your dad was in the hospital, cancer really bad. You drove back that night. By the time you got there, he was unconscious, tubes in his arm, face paw like you'd never seen before, small. You sat next to him, stared at his hand, those same rough, scarred hands you grew up watching sand down boards. Your throat just locked up, you couldn't see a word. Your mom passed years ago, and just like her, your dad left real quiet. No big speeches, no goodbyes. He didn't wait for you to apologize or to tell him you missed him or to say you were sorry you stayed away so long. After funeral, you went back to the shop. Everything smelled like sawdust and old varnish. You turned on the light, sat at his workbench. That's when you found a drawer full of clippings, photos, even printouts from your company's website. He'd been keeping tapping on you this whole time. The first page had his handwritten note. Eli's college graduation. I didn't go, but I bet he walked tall. You sat in that chair all night, holding those pages, and for the first time in years, you opened that old Bible he kept by the window. There was a bookmark on this one verse. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ gave you. You think maybe he hoped you read it someday, or maybe he was trying to forgive you before you even asked. You never moved back to the city. You stayed and opened a little woodworking class in town. Kept it to us, the smell, the stories. Some days you teach kids how to make those old rocking chairs he used to build. Every now and then you hear his voice in the back of your head saying, "Your cuts are crooked, boy." You stopped by the church on Thanksgiving every year now. Not that you got real religious all of a sudden. It's just you get it now. There's something we never said, but love has its way of sticking around anyway. You still never got to say I love you to your dad. But somehow, you think he knew. Eli, thank you again for sharing such a personal and powerful piece of your life with all of us. It's an honor to give it a voice here. Before the MV start, leave your stories and suggestions in comment section. We will contact you for free. Alright, let's get started.
One main road and an old wood shop, where the sawdust flew and time forgot. I swore I'd leave and I sure stayed gone, but the smell of pine still brings me home. He wasn't warm, he wasn't loud, but when I fell he stood around. Never said I love you, not out loud, but he built it in the things he left around.
I chased degrees and city lights, thought success would make it right. He sent me postcards, silent prayers, on the backs of chairs he carved with care. And when the call came late one night, I drove through tears and yellow light. He never woke, but he stayed a while, and I held his hand like I was a child.
He knew I loved him, even when I ran, even when I broke away from the man. He watched in silence, never asked for more, just left a drawer full of pride in a quiet drawer.
And though I never said the words I meant to, somehow I think
he knew. I sat in his chair, I opened his word, found a verse I know he hoped I'd heard. Be tender-hearted, forgive as he forgave. Maybe that was how he tried to stay. Now I teach the kids to cut and sand, still hear his voice, still see his hands. And when I bow my head on quiet days, it smells like sawdust and it feels like grace.
we don't all say the things we mean. Not every I love you comes out clean, but love like his, it doesn't fade. It lingers in wood and scars and grace.
He knew I loved him, though I never said. He heard it in the things I did. said. Through missed calls and stubborn pride, he watched in silence, arms open wide. I still never got to say what was true, but Lord, if you see him, tell him I